Toronto's mayor and police chief have unveiled a major plan to reduce a surge of gun violence in the city. 26 people have been shot and killed on the streets of Toronto since the beginning of the year. Our Megan Fitzpatrick is at police headquarters. She has more on this new strategy.
The plan involves putting more officers out on the streets of Toronto between the hours of 7 p.m. and 3 a.m. when the police chief says most of these shootings take place. And this is going to start next week here in Toronto. And those officers will be deployed throughout the city, not necessarily focusing on one particular neighborhood. But the police chief was saying at the news conference that they believe a lot of the recent gun violence here in Toronto is gang related and that police officers know who the, quote, players are. So he said they will also be using intelligence gathering to focus on who these key players are, though he wouldn't shed too many details on exactly what tactics the police would be using. But the key thing is more officers on the streets for at least the next 8 weeks. And he said then the police force will reevaluate that plan as they go along and adjust accordingly. He was joined by the mayor of Toronto, Tory, who announced some initiatives of his own to tackle gun violence, and he was focused more on the prevention side. And he said he's going to City Council to ask for more money to funnel towards gang prevention programs that already exist here in Toronto that have been proven to work. So he's saying more money to be directed towards those programs. He says that he knows the people of Toronto have been shaken up by these recent shootings. Some of them have taken place in playgrounds, some of them in busy downtown districts, the entertainment district and so on. Here's more of what Toronto Mayor Tory said at the news conference this morning.
We are all committed to making sure that our city remains safe. We've been shocked and horrified by the gun violence that has been taking place in different parts of the city. It has taken young lives, it has traumatized families, and it has shaken neighborhoods.
So more money from City Council, Diane, but also he's appealing to the federal government to help out on Toronto's gun problem. He says that city officials are applying for funding through the National Crime Prevention Program. And he did raise this issue with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau when they met last week. And Tory said this morning he's been assured by federal officials that that money will flow to the city of Toronto, and he's hoping it flows as soon as possible. He talked about a number of other things that he wants to see change in terms of tackling this problem, too, including reforming how bail conditions are set, and he's planning on having continuing conversations with the province's new Attorney General, Caroline Mulroney, as well as federal officials on that front as well. But he says these measures announced today should help Torontonians feel more safe.
That was CBC's Megan Fitzpatrick at police headquarters in Toronto.